uncomfortable. "I'm taking the test of name." Tane's eyes darkened to a midnight blue, and if Kaylin hadn't been human, hers would have joined them. "You're what?" "I'm going to the high halls to take the test of name." Kaylin was not stupid, in spite of what many of her early teachers had believed. She could put 2 + 2 together and end up with 4. "If Tila is coming over to ask if she can stay for a while," Kaylin said out loud, "does that mean the rest of the cohort are coming to visit as well?" "Not without your permission," Annarion replied, guilt shifting the corners of his eyes and mouth. "Look, some of us think it's an incredibly stupid decision, but we know it's dangerous, and none of the rest of us have taken the test either. If he goes, we're not going to let him go on his own." "Tila's taken the test." Mandoran exhaled. "Yes, we know. That's part of the problem. She can't come with us." He stared quite deliberately at his feet. Since this meant to Kaylin that he was trying not to look at anyone else, she frowned. "She can't go with you." "No, not if she follows the customs and laws of the high halls." Kaylin did look up then. "But Tane hasn't taken the test of name." Silence. Kaylin said, "Oh, no, I'm not getting between the two of you while you're arguing. You won't kill each other, but the collateral damage will probably kill anyone who isn't Barrani." "We're not arguing," Tane replied. His voice was chilly, his eyes the same dark blue. Annarion apparently also found his feat interesting. Tane was not a lord of the High Court. He was Tila's partner, and Tila was. But the other Barrani hawks were like Tane, a second class of citizen, a lesser class in the eyes of most Barrani lords. He'd never seemed to give a damn, but clearly he did now. She wondered who among the cohort had voted against Annarion taking the test. Mandoran and Tila, certainly. But had any of the others? "Yes," she said out loud. "The cohort can stay here as our guests. Given what happened with the two of you," she added, looking at the Barrani who were still staring at their feet, "I want some of the city to remain standing." "They've been taking the same lessons we have," Mandoran offered. "They learn what we learn." "Are they like you or like Annarion?" "We're not sure yet." "Then they are definitely staying where Helen can keep an eye on them." By the time Tila arrived at the front door, Tane, Annarion, and Kaylin were standing in front of it. Mandoran hung back, but not with any real hope of avoiding a face full of blue-eyed, angry Tila, which is what greeted them when Helen opened the front door. Her eyes shifted into indigo when she saw Tane. Tane didn't appear to notice, but he wasn't one of the cohort, and he'd lived in the real world, near Tila, for much longer than anyone else had. "What are you doing here?" she demanded, with no grace whatsoever. Tane didn't throw Mandoran to the wolves, which is clearly what Mandoran had been dreading. "I've heard that the cohort, as Kaylin calls them, is coming to stay." That wouldn't have been Kaylin's choice of opening words, but Kaylin was not Tila's partner. "Please come in," Helen said, before Tila could respond. "Kaylin hasn't eaten yet." No one had eaten yet. No one really felt like eating either, as far as Kaylin could tell. Tila and Tane quit what might have devolved into a staring contest as Helen ushered everyone into the dining room. They took their chairs, as if chairs were weapons or armor. Tila even turned hers around so the back faced the table and she could fold her arms over it. "Why," she said again, "are you here?" "I told you. My friends are not your problem." "No." Tila's eyes narrowed. She turned to glare at Mandoran, who shrugged. Her words, however, continued to be aimed at Tane. "I don't want you to endanger yourself needlessly." "I'm not. I've always been far more cautious than you are." This was arguably true, but Kaylin was not nearly suicidal enough to make the argument. She looked at breakfast as it appeared on her plate and wondered if it would be safer if breakfast for everyone else, or at least the Barrani, could be